are to be a cooperative venture between us and God. We can't hope to live successfully and leave God out. Though our circumstances often remind us of our limitations, they should also point out the potential that is there if we put everything in God's hands. In this text today, we see how one of God's most able servants found success in life despite personal loss. Paul is proof positive that nobody lives free from trouble. The question is not, will we have trouble? The question is, will we be successful in spite of our trouble? And my brothers and sisters, the choice is ours. Because every day, somebody has problems to deal with. Somebody sitting here today has money problems. You don't know how you're going to pay your bills. Somebody has health problems. Somebody has family problems. But while we may not have control over what happens in our lives, we do have control over what we do about what happens. If we do the best that we can with what we have, we'll be better off in the end. Paul shares with us an experience from his life where he was successful even though he suffered loss. He talks about how God raised him up into the third heaven. He says he saw the wonder and beauty of heaven. He saw things too wonderful to describe. Heard things that he was not permitted to share. Paul says that such an experience might cause one to become wrapped up in himself. But then he adds, don't you think that I've always won? Don't think that I've always had my way. I've had my share of trouble. I've had my share of defeats. In spite of how God has blessed me, God has not allowed me to forget that I'm still a man. So, in case I was tempted to forget who I am, God gave me a thorn in my flesh. God permitted a messenger of Satan to come against me. And 3 times I asked God to move it. 3 times God said no. I didn't get what I asked for. I didn't win. But even though I didn't win, I did have success. Because God told me, I have an answer for you, Paul. It's just not the answer that you were looking for. You're looking to win this one. And I'm not going to let you win this one. I'm not going to give you what you want. I'm not going to move your thorn. I don't want you to give up. I don't want you to let your thorn get the better of you. For you can find success even with your thorn. If you just remember one thing, and that is my grace is sufficient for you. Church, there's some things that we can learn from this text. And the first thing we can learn is that winning is not always succeeding. And succeeding is not always winning. Some people can win, but they don't know how to succeed. Winning for most of us means having more than the other fellow. The world says if you have more money, if you have more education, if you have better opportunities than others, then you are a winner. But success in the sight of God is measured by a different standard. Success is not determined by having more, but by doing better with what you have. And by that standard, we can win and still not be successful. Real success only comes when we're willing to lose everything for Jesus Christ. All world will tell us today, oh, I know what it is to be successful. But my success has not come as a result of me winning all the time. Most of my success has been the result of having to overcome loss in my life. Meeting Jesus was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. But success came only when I was willing to suffer loss. You see, I had been a winner on my campaign to stamp out Christianity. Everywhere I went, I persecuted the Church of Jesus Christ. Had a reputation as a ruthless defender of Jewish tradition. But while I was a winner to my colleagues, what I didn't know was that I was on my way to hell. One day, when I was making a campaign toward Damascus, Jesus met me on the road. Jesus knocked me to the ground. Jesus blinded me. Jesus caused me to lose. But in losing, I found success. I was going to Damascus to destroy. I was going to Damascus to have my way. I was going to Damascus to win. But on the way to Damascus, I found success. Because I met Jesus for myself. Church, if we ought to find success in life, we have to be willing to lose our will. We have to be willing to lose our way. We have to be willing to change our priorities and our perspective. Success is not found in having your way. Success is found in telling the Lord, you have your way. All to Jesus I surrender. All to him I freely give. I will ever love and trust him. In his presence daily live. Sometimes Jesus doesn't give you the answer that you want. Sometimes you have to accept the answer that he gives you. And you know, a lot of us have problems with that. It's all right when Jesus brings laughter. It's all right when he brings good times. But it's a little harder to accept his will when it's not what we want it to be. It's a little harder to accept his will when it causes heartache and disappointment. But I declare to you today, you will find success in life if you remember that even when his will is not what we're looking for, we can still be successful because his grace is sufficient. Paul says that winning is not always succeeding, and succeeding is not always winning. But then a second thing he wants us to see here is that success comes in knowing that his grace will help us bear our load. Paul wasn't pleased with what had happened to him. This thorn troubled him. This thorn disturbed him. This thorn caused him to have some difficult days. Paul decided by his grace, I'm going to bear my load. I'm not going to get angry. I'm not going to become bitter. I'm not going to engage in self-destructive behavior, but I boast about my weaknesses so that Christ's power may rest on me, because I've learned that when I am weak, then I am strong. Church, we can bear our burden by the grace of God. Nobody wants to go through trouble, but it is one thing that trouble will do. It'll teach you that God is able. In trouble, Abraham found out that the Lord will provide. In trouble, the Hebrew boys found out that God can cool the flames of the fiery furnace. In trouble, Elijah found out that the God he serves will prove himself. Paul got weak enough to be down in jail in Philippi, but God was strong enough to deliver him at the hour of midnight. You can bear your burden if you can stand in his grace. Well, there's one final thing I want to tell you, and that is success comes in knowing that there's more to life than the things of this world. One reason why we're so caught up in women. One reason why we're so caught up in prosperity and personal wealth and comfort. One reason why we're so caught up in what the world thinks about us is because we forget that there's more to life than just the things of this world. Real success comes in putting this life in perspective. This life is all right. This life has its pleasures. It has its comforts. But let me tell you something. In a little while, this life is going to be over. None of us was put here to stay. Some of us have to realize that we're making a move somewhere. And for some of us, the move is coming faster than we thought it was going to come. All you got to do is look in the mirror and look at you and realize you don't recognize the person that you're looking at. All you got to do is look at your skin and see where it's got wrinkles all over the place. Where it used to be smooth. All you got to do is go down to the drugstore and buy that dark stuff to cover the gray that's in your hair. All you got to do is look at that cold cream that you put on your face to try to keep the moles from coming up. Life is changing. You ain't going to be here for long. You need to recognize that there's more to life than just the things of this world. If you haven't made preparation for the other side, you can have all the stuff on this side, and you can be a winner on this side, but you will not succeed. Because success comes in putting your hand in God's hand. Success comes in saying, Father, I'm trusting you to make a way for me out of no way. Success comes when everybody else forgets who you are. And yet the Lord tells you, I'll be a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Success comes when you can't put food on your own table, but the Lord keeps feeding you. Success comes when you ain't got no money in your pocket, but the Lord keeps making a way out of nowhere. Success comes when you remember that there's more to it than this. Jesus said, I'm going away to a place that I have prepared. And I'll be gone for a little while, but I ain't gone forever. I will come again. And I will receive you to myself, that where I am, there you will be also. And let me tell you something. If you ain't got that, you might be a winner in the eyes of the world, but you won't succeed. It ain't about what neighborhood you live in, what neighborhood you come from. It's not about what's in your financial portfolio. It's not about whose name you got in your iPhone. It's about knowing Jesus for yourself. It's about knowing that you put your hand in his hand. It's about knowing that he's able to make rough places plain and crooked places straight. That he's able to open doors for you that men closed against you. That he's able to turn the darkness of midnight into the light of noonday. Don't worry about winning on this side. Be a success in the eyes of Jesus. I declare